Tonight at 10, a deadly crash on Route 40.
They have a rural med ambulance west of here with a patient who is deteriorating. They need oxygen.
Federal officials say a car passed in a no passing zone, a semi forced to crash into a ditch. That truck carrying deadly gas, anhydrous ammonia.
The cloud is clear there now. Hoping we can get somebody in there.
The crash leading to an evacuation order for the entire town of Teutopolis and leaving one family broken.
He didn't even have time to run.
WAND's Alyssa Patrick meets the family still grieving during this special report, Tragedy in Teutopolis.
Weekends spent fishing, taking care of animals.
Are you feeding goats?
And playing at the park. It was the picture-perfect childhood the Elmores wanted for 10-year-old Walker and 8-year-old Rose.
We're not family by blood, but we've known Kenny a long time, and he's family.
Kenny Bryan and Jordan Elmore had met in the 7th grade and became fast friends.
We started hanging out, and then it was like you couldn't separate us. Every weekend we'd go to each other's houses.
Megan says when Kenny moved into their spare bedroom years later, he became like a brother to her as well.
I approve this message.
The night of the accident, right before he came home, he called me to ask me if I was home, and he said, "If you're home, do you need anything from town?" And I didn't need anything, so he just came on home.
But the night of September 29, their unconventional family was torn apart.
I had a buddy on IDOT that actually called me and was checking on me, make sure I was all right. And I said I was fine, I was out of town.
That phone call turned their lives upside down. Jordan was out of town at a shooting tournament when he learned there was a semi crash near his house.
Jordan called me, it was probably about 9 o'clock, and said, "Hey, don't go home. There was an accident by our house, and it was an anhydrous tanker."
Megan was also out of town that weekend, but her thoughts immediately went to Kenny.
I knew that Kenny was supposed to be on his way home with his kids.
Megan scrambled to pull up her Ring doorbell app to see if she could find them.
And I saw Kenny's car in the driveway, but I didn't see any people.
They were both frantic, calling, hoping for an answer.
And I called him, and he never answered. And I never did see him. I never saw anything.
They later learned Kenny had just pulled in the driveway with his kids when the tanker crashed and thousands of gallons of anhydrous ammonia started spilling out. All 3 died instantly.
He got hit with the anhydrous. It's hard to think about, but he didn't even have time to run. Everything that was on that property died when that spill happened.
The Bryans were laid to rest on October 6th. While Megan and Jordan say they're still grieving the loss of their friends, they say they also have not been able to move back into their home almost 3 months later. We're taking a closer look at the spill cleanup and why experts say their home should now be safe.
How do we know it's going to be safe to go back to? Who can tell us, yes, it is safe?
The Illinois EPA is overseeing remediation at the crash site. A contractor is hauling away soil from the Elmore's house that may have been contaminated from the spill.
They have to get rid of all the dirt that's been contaminated from this. They're digging it up and putting it in dumpsters and hauling it to St. Louis to have it burnt in a hazardous place.
Anhydrous ammonia means ammonia without water. This means it's immediately attracted to water.
So the moment it's released, it's trying to bind with water wherever it is, including your skin or your eyes or your mucous membranes, and that's what makes it so dangerous.
Dr. Salah Issa, a professor at the University of Illinois, says water essentially neutralizes the chemical.
It reduces the danger, it dilutes it, it removes it. Usually on your body, when you're dumping a lot of water, it kind of pushes us out.
But that could have dangerous consequences.
Eventually, it's reacting either with the water and the humidity in the atmosphere or when it's raining. And once it interacts with water, then it falls down into the ground.
This means it could end up in groundwater IDPH sampled private wells near the crash site soon after the spill and found no dangerous levels of the chemical. Staff are now waiting on the results from new testing done earlier last month.
If they can prove it to me that it's safe, we'll do it. But I don't think anybody knows, because nothing like this volume has happened close to a house before.
The EPA also tested the air at the crash site. We worked with a scientist to give you a visual representation of what they found. Anhydrous ammonia becomes deadly at 2.5 liters, so we know there was at least that much in the air at the time of the crash. But less than 24 hours later, they found just 1/5 of a milligram, this tiny amount, in the air.
Despite reassuring test results, the Elmores are concerned their home may still not be safe. Dr. Issa says they can take extra precautions by washing down any surfaces that may have been exposed to the chemical vapors, which could end their months-long nightmare. Reporting in Teutopolis, Alyssa Patrick, WAND News.